Where's? Welcome to the Damu Kiwe conversations. Y'all hit that like button. I know y'all just getting in. Y'all been waiting. Like, what's going on? Man, we was traveling, man. We just got here. Salute to everybody that's on IG. You can go to IG on to YouTube on Twitch or YouTube at Active Chucks. I'm gonna pin that for y'all on IG so y'all can get the content. It's the day, it's the 29th anniversary of the day that the GOAT got shot in Las Vegas. Suge Knight and Tupac Amor Shakur. You know what I'm saying? We definitely gonna have tribute to him on that. They're not gonna allow me to play no more music. We just heard one Pac song. And we was already beautiful black ladies up in here early. First one in the chat. Kid the Barber, Damu Kiwe Conversations, Duse Sims. Yeah, that's a fact. You know what I'm saying? BBL, salute Queen. You know what I'm saying? Carolina Connect TV, salute to the Blue Wrench Mob. Salute to the Blue Wrench Mob. Salute Duse Sims, ETE. We got the content. Jerry Griffin, I wiped my feet when I entered. What up, Chad? Miles, Duse Sims, the Damu Kiwe, Yael voice, man. Salute to the brother Yael, man, my good brother. You know what I'm saying? We're in here. Hey, Chad. What's up, Fantasy Bambi? Fantasy Bambi. Jerry Griffin, feels good to be home right here. Hey, man, appreciate that, Jerry Griffin. Running late, 9:30, so I gave y'all a warning. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know I was going to go live, though. Y'all know Scandalous dropped 2 episodes of on the day that Pac was shot 29 years ago. He dropped 2 episodes of our exclusive interview with Suge Knight. Lou from the Lou, what up? Renegade Duchess, what up with ya? We got the content, the voice of the West, the voice of the culture. Right on. Man, that's a fact. We got something else for y'all, too. Hold on. Let's see what we got going on. Let me get up over here real quick. You know what I'm saying? Salute to my boy Slay, Great Code Entertainment. He put together this quick little intro for us. So before we get into the content, before we get into the content, let's get into the intro, man. Hit that like button on y'all way in. Let's get to it, man.
Let me hear that beat. You dig?
I don't like how that one look.
I'm gonna address some shit. Let y'all niggas know the real.
Maybe I need
to for too long. Hibernate.
Let me put this over here.
Everybody want it, but do you want to get it? I'm sick of all these niggas bullshitting. I'm sick of all these bitches. I'm sick of how these bitch niggas tripping and how y'all get these passes to these snitches. Neighborhood crippin', dog pound gangsters in the building. I'ma treat these niggas like bitches. Throw them to the wolves and the vultures, the hyenas and my siblings.
Damu Kiwe Conversation, the only place you gonna get it is the only place you gonna get Big U.
Hit that like button. Yeah,
I want this shit banging in my headphones. You understand me? Let me hear that beat. You dig? I'm gonna address some shit. Let y'all niggas know the real. I've been dormant for too long. Hibernate. Everybody want it, but do you want to get it? I'm sick of all these niggas bullshitting. I'm sick of all these bitches. I'm sick of how these bitch niggas tripping and how y'all get these passes to these snitches. Neighborhood crippin', dog pound gangsters in the building. I'ma treat these niggas really like bitches. Throw them to the wolves and the vultures, the hyenas and my siblings.
So what we gonna do, since y'all can't really see it on that IG post, is we gonna go into the chat and play it for y'all. so that y'all can see. Oh, it didn't go through yet. Salute to all my people on Clubhouse. You know what I'm saying? Let's go like this. Y'all should be able to see everything. Now hit that like button. Let's go. Y'all can't even see
Let
it.
y'all
My
niggas know
bad.
the real.
We're going
I've
to
been
start
dormant.
it back up.
I want this shit banging in my headphones. You understand me? Let me hear that beat. You dig? I'm gonna address some shit. Let y'all niggas know the real. I've been dormant for too long. Hibernate. Everybody want it, but do you wanna get it? I'm sick of all these niggas bullshitting. I'm sick of all these bitches. I'm sick of how these bitch niggas tripping and how y'all get these passes to these snitches. Neighborhood crippin', dog pound gangsters in the building. I'ma treat these niggas like bitches. Throw them to the wolves and the vultures, the hyenas in my step.
Damu, Kiwe conversation. The only place you gonna get it is the only place you gonna get Big U.
Damu Kiwe conversations. The only place you gonna get
I want this shit banging in.
The only place you gonna get Big U. That was Big U that said that. That wasn't us. Peanut, the homie Peanut up in here. Salute to you, King. Always glad to see that positive energy around. It made me feel better about my odds of achieving positive things when you around. So Suge Knight 29-year anniversary, Tupac shooting in Las Vegas, man. Suge got shot, Pac got shot, Pac died, Suge survived. You know what I'm saying? So we finna get into this. Everybody already seen that we had part one, but it's gonna be 7 parts. So far, it's gonna be more than that because we just was on with Suge today, really talking to him about it being the 29th anniversary, etc. You know what I'm saying? So what part is this? Yeah, this is part 2. We finna get right into it. Hit that like button, man. Let's get right into it.
Where we expose the exposers. This is part 2 of our 7-part series with Suge Knight.
He definitely
In
don't know what
today's
he's talking
episode,
about.
Simon speaks about everything from CS2 back to Snoop Dogg. You'll also hear his raw reaction as he learns, for the very first time, about CS2 back's gun case out of Wheeler, Texas. He'll touch briefly on SKG today, but don't worry. We're saving the bigger conversation about her for part 3. So let's dive in. Let's see what Simon says.
This is Global Tel-Link. You have a prepaid call from
Suge Knight.
an incarcerated individual at the R.J. Donovan Correctional Facility, San Diego, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now. Thank you for using Global Tel-Link.
Yeah, Suge. So
Yeah, what?
So the police pull him and his brother over in Wheeler, Texas for speeding, bring the dogs out, pull him out the car, he nervous, and he tell him a story of he was going to pick up his brother. His brother Zachary Jones got killed, double execution style murder in Oklahoma in Tulsa, right? He get caught with a chopstick, a hand pistol, a gauge, and 800 rounds of ammunition. So he tell the police, look, man, my brother got killed. We going to pick up my mom for the funeral to drive her back to California because she's 400 pounds and can't fly.
I hear you about 40 pounds now.
Yeah, when his stomach is so ridiculous, he just let himself go. I don't know how he can have no self-discipline, getting up in age, supposed to be a father, and represent himself like that. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. And that dude just got no kind of class, right? But backtrack, you said that you told Snooper Duper that he could get on your visiting list and holler at you because he got a new song out. I seen about a month or two ago where he talking about some Suge Knight the snitch. I said, well, shit, I know Suge Knight with a snitch. He knew enough to get the fuck out that day. So why the fuck is he still in jail and you out here?
Look, I'm gonna tell you about old Snoop. That was his name. His name used to be Snooper Duper, just like the 5 Heartbeats, with a special haircut. Everything, and he was signed to Prevail Hayes from Santana Block. Rest in peace. So this is the thing about this dude. First and foremost, he told on everybody. When the motherfucker, when he was up there talking about he was cheating, right? And I never sold him the P-Nip. I sold him to Brian Turner after showed the paperwork, right? So I allowed him to rap with, and allowed him to rap with P. They're at Universal up there, and they beat with No Limit. How you let 4-5 motherfuckers come over there, and the homie slapped his dog shit out of him? He takes off running. Only thing the No Limit soldier says, nah, while he running. The police pull him over, snatch him, search him, found an ounce of cocaine and weed. And he's going to jail and he showed something. He said, who killed Tupac? He said, me. Now, if I was a rat, you little bitch ass, little skinny motherfucker, look like you're half dead, motherfucker. Look like you're 80. At the end of the day, if I was a rat, the audio I got on you, talking about your participation in the murder of Tupac, talking about you know the real reason why he did and all this bullshit. You even still got the white lady, Martha Stewart, running around talking about it's a gangster. He put money in on to have Tupac killed. What the fuck? So if I couldn't find myself to do that, boy. You know, I'm gonna keep it one way. I gotta have a little bit of love for him now because he was one of my artists, right? But if I let that motherfucking tape fly, that conversation, either he gonna kill himself or he gonna be somewhere doing life. Oh, shoot. Boy, your nephew is on the other yard. You wanna get him over here?
That's crazy. But the crazy thing is, he should have never let Martha Stewart say that nothing negative about Tupac or associate him with nothing with Tupac negativity anyway. He ain't got no respect. First, he fucked up doing that shit, talking about he don't got no beef with Bad Boy, Puffy.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Weird as fuck.
And Pac socked that nigga in his mouth.
What, Pac socked him too?
Man, check this out. Pac was beating those niggas up.
Suge is saying that Pac was beating these niggas up. He fired on Snooper Duper. I know niggas might say Suge be lying, but I talked to some people, man. I talked to some death row people, a couple of them, and all of them saying the same thing. Pac did fire on that nigga. You know what I'm saying? Pac fired on Snoop. Wow, I didn't know she said that. Thug Life, salute. Zero Rex, salute. We got the content. Breaking news. Snooper Duper got fired on by Pac. So Snoop Dogg and Tupac's friendship or relationship together was a little shaky. That's crazy when you hear people pointing the finger at him and having something to do with Pac's murder. I never had bid on it or whatever, right? But now when you get to hearing and getting that Pac did fire on this nigga Snoop for doing some whole shit, and he felt a certain kind of way, that Snoop might have felt a certain kind of way too. So it was a little bit shaky. And that's why Snoop had the butter knife on the plane. That's why he had the butter knife on the plane. He wasn't about to let him do that again. Let's get back into the exclusive interview with Suge Knight.
Pac beat up Sam Sneed, Pac beat up Snoop. Pac, I like Corrupt, my boy. Corrupt will tell you the truth.
Hey,
Fuck them on it. Pac chased Nate Dogg.
all I'm gonna do is tell y'all this. If anybody want to bet me that Pac didn't take off on Snoop, I'm taking all bets. Put your money where your mouth is. You know what I'm saying? Sugar Bear ain't lying about this one, bro. But he said Pac beat up Sam Sneed too.
In Cabo, Mexico. They know the real. Pac never wanted to leave Death Row. Pac was going to say, like, you know what? We don't need these motherfuckers, Simon. These niggas weak. They fuck the enemy.
That's a fact, Zero Red.
Death Row. Not like fuck Death Row. We
got Cheeseburger Chuck in the chat. Come on up. Cheeseburger Chuck with your fat ass. I got some weed for you, man. I want you to let me know if this is some good tree. Where you at in Vegas?
Y'all know. But anyway, my nephew is from Lane.
Still smoke reefer, don't
me and my talk, he said, hey, I'm talking to this girl. I said, well, I met her 3 times. Right?
Uh-huh.
She cool. I said, but I ain't doing no. He said, well, look, man, everybody come on, let's bring the roll back. I said, cool, we'll do it. Right? So as we doing it, we gonna put in our kids' names and all this type of shit and go big on it. She turned around and tried to be slick and started just putting her name on it, right?
Well, you gotta be talking about Stinky Coochie Girl.
Yeah, so check this out. I don't know about a coochie. I only been around her 3 times.
Yeah, but no, that's just what we call her, right?
So, yeah, so this is what I do know, right? So check this out. I didn't find all this till later on. So I didn't find out till, you know, that's my little bro. That's my homie. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck what nobody else say. All the other motherfuckers scared of the truth. Truth is the truth. I always fuck with him. Matter of fact, we was all on the phone together. So my nephew, he tell me, a dude from 30s. I ain't gonna say his name because, you know, I ain't in crip business like that. But he's from 30s. He's flying things to my nephew, saying that she getting overspend on the homie, make sure he get life, right?
So
he tell me,
stop that right there to make
said,
sure
man,
that y'all hear
work,
what I'm
right?
hearing. So he talked to somebody after he was doing business with Stanky Coochie Girl, and he tell him, "Hey man, that bitch is saying she gonna testify on Big U, that she gonna make sure that he got life in prison. This is what's going on." Now wonder, as soon as they raid Big U house, they got this bitch on the Channel 5 news, national news, telling her story and kicking Big U back in because she been working with them people. When she tried to get them to do violence at the gala, she was working, and she was on the phone with CS2 back, FaceTime. Nasty work. Let's get back to the content.
But I'm gonna keep it respectful. You brought me in, you deal with it. So he called her and tell her, well, you know, you can't go up there and get on court with him and get him life. She told him, get out of my business. He said she went big on him and all this crazy shit. Now they got this thing and picture of me saying, oh fuck, I gotta hang up and roll back out, Cardi.
What I have covered with Country Financial is everything from the ground up.
Life insurance, home insurance, and
so that's part 2, man. Salute to my boy Scandalous Los Angeles TV for putting out part 2. We got a little documentary we're gonna check out also. But I wanted to make sure we got to this. So SKG is working Duse while I'm looking at the TV and you transforming into a wolf. Laugh out loud. Shout out to the homies. And Wacky Rat and Pork Butt was saying Pac wasn't a gangster, diabolical. Man, he gets on, he finna cover all of that. Already knew Pac and the Outlaws beat up Sam Snead. Yeah, but not only did they beat up Sam Snead, Stanky Coochie Girl, SKG. You know what I'm saying? But not only did they beat up Sam Snead, Tupac flighted Snooper Duper, known to y'all as Snoop Doggy Dogg, the Dog Father. Let's get to part 3. Scandalous Los Angeles TV. Exclusive interview with Suge Knight. Let's get to it, man. Y'all know who he is. Voice of the West Coast. Voice of the coach. Damu Kiwe. Conversations. Let's get to it.
Welcome back to Scandalous Los Angeles TV, where we expose the exposers. This is episode 3 of our 7-part series with Suge Knight. In today's conversation, Simon goes deeper into SKG, sharing his thoughts on their recent run-in. He also revisits the stories surrounding CS2 Back, confirming some things we've heard before and adding new details. You'll hear Simon talk about the time his Mexican homeboy allegedly punched CS2 back in the mouth, saying he got knocked out right then and there. He also recalls the very first time he ever met CS2 Back. According to Simon, the first time he met Porky, he says he put him flat on his back. Simon's not holding anything back. He's speaking candidly, and as always, we're about to find out what Simon says.
Yeah, so he tell me on the bullshit about they definitely going to make sure the homie gets time, you know? Yeah. I tell my nephew, well, you gotta stop that one. Cause you know, that ain't something that needs to be done, but I'm never gonna have a conversation with him again in life, right? Right. He hollered at him and they was like, get out of my business, that nigga gonna fry, I'm gonna get him, I'm blah, 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 blah. The thing about this is this. First of all, I'm tired of everybody trying to change my history with a lie. She's not the row. She never was on death row or the row. I did her a favor for Kiwe. I put her on a song with Pac, but Left Eye is on the same song. You know, same song. I put it on it twice just to help her give her a career. And you can't get a career on that, that's on you. To talk bad and think you're going to take the road, it's yours, and that's who you are. And, you know, she even spoke bad and tried to speak bad to my nephew, like even on Toy. Yeah. Her and Wack is best friends. They're inseparable. Inseparable, right? So she got him pumped up. He's speaking on it. I'm like, hold up. You on the phone. She texts me on my tablet. I call back. I'm listening to the whole thing. She checking. Motherfucker, whenever I worked at Foot Locker. What are you talking about? Do you want this ugly bitch you right here beat up? That ugly ass man looking bitch? Yeah. The one he with? Yeah. That bitch. Right? Yeah. So, I don't know. That other bitch and another bitch. Before I get into this, I'm going to tell you like this, Wack.
Scandalous Los Angeles is the GOAT.
I'll meet you at the county jail. All you got to do. But besides that, it's like,
Attorney Jasmine Mines.
Your wife.
Those graphics is by the
CEO.
Scandalous Los Angeles.
This bitch was at Lancaster, and most of 99% of the bitches that work in the prison They drinking beer with the sergeants, the captains, the lieutenants, and the other motherfucking CEOs. And you know it's a lot of sucking and fucking going on.
Facts.
And inmates, right? But imagine this little chubby, little toe-looking motherfucker, little short dude, right?
Yeah.
The very minute he give her all that plastic surgery shit and take off those stanky boots and sweaty socks for those 9 and 10-hour shifts, got her some nice shoes, she walked away on his ass. But back to the other motherfucker talking. Ain't no punks in my house. So, and the little broad talking about she the role, she taking the role. You sound stupid. Number one. You got my picture on there on your pocket, I know your whatever that shit is, saying we doing movies and write to me, y'all signing artists. There's no way in hell that I'm gonna go back and forth about if somebody has something on the road. That's like at the end of the day, you tell that little skinny weirdo motherfucker, stick motherfucker, if they got death row, once again, show me where's the ticket you bought. Show me do you got it in the catalog. Only thing you and that dude did, your partner, matter of fact,
the rat,
Snoop is
his
Michael
partner is the rat, right? Yeah.
Well, the rat is Michael Harris. There's two rats. Right. Michael Harris is a rat too. Michael Harris and Snoop had motherfuckers. I'll send y'all the paperwork where these motherfuckers go up there and take $4 million from this motherfucker, another 4.5 million from this motherfucker, $1 million from this motherfucker. And they sit right at that little Inglewood spot over there and tell those motherfuckers, for this money, you're going to get the reality show for the boss lady.
Mute up, we live.
For this money, you're going to get this with death row, that with death row. They committed fraud, as usual. Only thing they got to do is shut us up, and you shut me up. Show the paperwork and the check where you paid the money, Snoop. And if what the other little broad you be talking about, whatever you call it, if she got the roll, where and how? You never had a roll chain. You never had a death row chain. No bitch in life never had a death row chain or a roll chain. And on top of that, to make it, matter of fact, I got an artist that's from the west side. She's younger than her, but she's rapping. Everybody always talking about
what's her name? What's her name, Suge?
From the west side?
Yeah.
They call her Theory.
Okay.
We got Theories and we got a Blessing. Yeah, she's from the west side. And shit, I'm not gonna argue with no bitch, but she'll run any bitch. Anytime. I guarantee she'll call in and pull up. But back to all this bullshit, we gotta do better than what we doing.
Thursday Night Football on Prime is
back.
It's on.
I don't want to be in the thing of talking about the little turtle motherfucker, Wack, about his.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
I know they snitching on her because if their story is true, and they say she was selling 10s and 20s and $50 rocks to buy shit, if that was true, you tell on your mama to go to jail.
Right.
And you said your father was on crack, but your mother wasn't on crack. I know Pastor Jones. And Pastor Jones ain't no punk. And if you selling dope and he high, he gonna take it. That's any crackhead, right?
That's what they gonna do.
So you can't sit up there with pork butter and tell me, oh no, this what it is, this what it ain't. That's some bullshit. But since we got all the bullshit out the way, how
wait now, you can't get away with this one. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
Before you get away with this one. You was in Vegas and you got to see the little troll motherfucker. He came in with Stutterbox, and I think Barlos was with you, and an essay, right? and he trucked from 18th Street or something. And I guess he tried to play with you, like, what's up, nigga, this and that, playing.
Nah. And this I really happened. This is the true part about it. It was me. It was Toy. It was my Mexican homie.
Okay.
We walk inside the club. They there first. Box is there. He's standing next to Box. I grab him. Playing with him. When I let him go, my Mexican homie fired on him. He was knocked out in his sleep. Standing up on the wall. Wake the nigga up. What happened? I said, I tell the homie, I said, man, he the homie, right? He said, I didn't know. He said, man, you knocked me out. You did that to me? He said, oh, we were to get out. I said, look, I tell you now, you don't want it with them. He said, I want to. I said, well, let's leave out. We all walk outside of the club, walk outside the casino, go in a little corner over there. What you gonna do? Look, I want to fight. So all you gotta do is run up on me. He's gonna beat some of the next one. He's like, hey, I'm gonna tell you one more time. I'm right here. You come over here, I'm gonna beat your motherfucking ass. So then he looked at this other dude, the black dude did. He said, man, where you from? This dude was from Mississippi, but he claimed 60s, right? He said, I'm from 60s. He said, oh, I don't want no problem with you. I'm from, you know who I am. I'm Wack from Power Room 60 Power Room. That's the end of the day.
This nigga should say, Wack told me I'm Wack from Power Room, 60 Power Room, rolling 60 Power Room.
He be claiming that shit, man.
Man, all day long. When I first meet, this is the thing though. I ain't gonna lie and say me and he start off all right. The very first time I ever met that boy, coming out the studio, he said, man, I'm Wack. He all aggressive. I said, look, man, got to put my motherfucking phone down, a little aggressive ass little nigga. You gonna be on your back. I said, for real?
Right.
That's all you gotta do is ask anybody who's there that I put him on his back. He know that.
First time you met him?
First time I met him. You know I put him on his back. And Taka, come on, Taka did tell me, call those motherfuckers up there. Taka, I know what happened. There's pictures and footage of me fucking over Taka at the party, at my Christmas party after I gave from me. But at the same time, everybody got a story. Let's deal with the truth. But what I'll say is this. We don't gotta do no talking. I'm damn sure ain't gonna, I ain't even really thought of nigga 5'3", 5'4". You know, so it's definitely no win with all that. But that is 1,000% true. So you can ask Fox, that's all.
Yeah, no, Big U told me, well, first let me tell you what Big U told me about Suge, right? He told me that Snooper Duper and a couple of them other dudes from 6-0 that fucked with Snooper Duper were trying to reel him in with a deal and all of this shit. And he told me he doesn't want to deal with them. I said, why not? He said, because they don't fuck with Suge. He said, nigga, me and my wife love Suge because he was there for us when we needed him. I'll never forget that. And from that was the first time I knew that Big U had some kind of loyalty to those that he loved. You know what I'm saying?
He do. One thing about him, I ain't trying to cut you off on some real shit. He loyal. I'm loyal. You loyal. We deal with the right shit. But now all of a sudden, you know, he in there, and now everybody forgets. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How the fuck you forget? It's so many motherfuckers. Every time a motherfucker stumble and fall a little bit, that's when you know who really fucking with you. Yeah. One thing I would say is the fact that, like I went on a few people's platforms, right?
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
First thing I say, well, you need to say this about Death Row? I laugh. At the same time, because
right, G-Man.
shit we didn't been through, travel, had fun and watch our kids grow up. That's like, he gonna make it home, but you gotta remember one thing. He already beat the odds. A lot of motherfuckers saying a lot of shit, but he, one, he's still alive. Two, how many people can say they got a son in the NFL?
Yeah. Stud. He played tomorrow. He playing my team, Kansas City Chiefs tomorrow. You know what I'm saying?
And so, at the end of the day, we gotta remember this stuff. The biggest accomplishment we can make as a man is to be a father. If you haven't made it in life until you become a grandparent, shit, they done changed the outlook of. They got my son thinking that he can take my name and nobody can use it. Now this is my son, son that I love.
Good idea, Monique.
When he was in high school, he went by Jacob. Now,
that's funny, huh, Raider Q?
But he sued anybody, including me, saying I can't use my own name.
Wax busted.
You raised them right then. Shit.
Yeah, but if he gonna do it,
you have 60 seconds remaining.
Mean what he say. Like when he got into it with Ray J, I told my son, don't go back and forth with him. Tell him to run that thing. When you got ready to run that thing, you know, everybody talking about it. I told him, look, if you gonna drink whiskey, motherfucker, drink whiskey. But I better not catch you drinking no motherfucking milk and cookies.
Right.
But I ain't gonna never say nothing bad about my son because I love my son. But for those other niggas picking on my son, I'm gonna holler at y'all about that. But at the same time, you gotta remember, my son, in a way, he's a great father. I got two of the most beautiful granddaughters in the world. And he got a son. He got a junior. I got pictures of him holding up the pregnancy stick with his other baby mama, being so happy.
Join Planet Fitness today and save. Just $1 down, $15 a month.
Offer ends September 12th.
Hit the like button. She ain't got that much rhythm, but she trying to work that thing for CarMax, huh? We gonna go ahead and get up out of there. Hit that like button, man. So Snooper Duper then got fired on. Wack got fired on his first time meeting Suge, right? Then he get boo-bop by the essay. Well, not boo-bop. He got knocked out by the essay in Vegas because the essay thought him and Suge was serious. And he up there with Suge. So he didn't even get in. That nigga's a buster. But it's a whole lot of busters. Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg talk all that super crip shit. Come to find out, Pac little ass whooped on you. Whoop that trick. Whoop that trick. You know what I'm saying? So we finna get to the shout out to Suge. Shout out Corrupt too. I talked to Corrupt today. Gotti, you know what I'm saying? He gave me some real good information about me. You know what I'm saying? Real positive. That nigga Gotti got a head on his shoulders. Y'all might not get it, but just giving me advice about certain things and just chopping it up. You know what I'm saying? About a lot of shit that's going on. Salute to him. I talked to Suge today. Today is the 29 years anniversary since the day that Suge Knight and Tupac were shot in Las Vegas off the strip. Nah, Duse Wack got down on the floor. Marcus Reniche, Wack and Reggie been swinging from Suge and Pac nuts for way too long. Time to cut the cord. Yeah, facts. Corrupt 100 and his little brother, Roscoe. Yep. So the whole nephew squad got either punched or choked out. Yeah, these dudes is busters, bro. How you scared of a fade? Nigga are putting their hands on you. What's gonna happen? He gonna hit you again? Nigga, why you ain't fighting back? Busters. Let's get to this documentary. Let's hit the like button, man. We're gonna reminisce on a little bit of Death Row days, man.
On this edition of Ultrasound, they were four men who changed the face and the sound of popular music with a label called Death Row.
Ain't nothing but a G thing, baby. Too low def G, so we're crazy.
A former football player whose knack for marketing and music made him the best-known record mogul of his time, but whose strong-arm tactics would land him in jail.
It's the bound to the wild, creeping and crawling, Yiggy yes yoling, Snoop Doggy Dogg in the house with the pound like every day, and I'm right back up in you with Dr. Dre.
A former choir boy and drug dealer whose good looks and laid-back style made him a rap superstar, and whose murder trial would come to define Death Row. And this man, a child of revolutionaries, whose ability to live and chronicle the thug life he would inscribe on his stomach led him to become Death Row's biggest-selling artist and its most tragic figure. Now hear the untold stories of their life on Death Row.
The market we're going after, we're mainly for the people. I mean, for us, the West Coast, there's a lot of talent around that guys, we don't have the opportunity to have a chance to prove themselves. We're giving all the youngsters the opportunity. Basically, we haven't forgot where we came from.
You are now about to... Under the guidance of Andre Young, known as Dr. Dre, and his seminal rap group, NWA. Soon to be dubbed gangster rap that Suge Knight would seize on and turn into the age's most controversial and commercially successful style of music.
Death Row opened up doors for bad boys. If it wasn't for Death Row coming out and selling the amount of records that they sold, Biggie, it wouldn't be possible for Biggie to have had came out. But for me to even be embraced at Black Radio the way I was embraced, to me even get the deal that I got when I first made my deal.
Suge's uncanny skills as a business person would quickly become the stuff of legends, as would his reputation as a man to be feared. His repeated entanglements with the law would eventually land him in prison, where he is today.
Suge's myth has only gotten bigger with him in jail, because now people, even when there was rumors of him getting out of jail, people all of a sudden were terrified. I know that for a fact in New York. I'm not going to say any names of some of the more famous and prominent people in the industry here in New York, but like, oh my God, he's getting out of jail. And if I was Suge Knight, I would love to have that kind of mythology around me, because it sells records, you know, and it allows me the ability to do the things that I want to do, and no one's going to stop me half the time.
From 1992 to 97, Death Row artists would sell more than 25 million albums and generate more than 300 million in revenue, making superstars out of some of the most charismatic performers in the history of hip-hop.
To organize a lot of young, talented guys and recognize you didn't need to have a big superstar, that you could create stars. And you could create them out of the ghetto.
Some people, like myself, had nothing better to do with their lives but rap. I mean, I probably would have been in jail or dead if it wasn't for rap.
The only way we got to make money, I know some of y'all white folks and some of y'all black folks don't appreciate what we talking about, but this is the only way we got to make money. And if you don't let me make my money on the streets, I guarantee you I will make my money on the street. And then I'm going to have to bring guns into it. Now, y'all buy my record and support a real nigga, because I'm staying real.
Suge's ability to work with artists from the inner city came as no surprise to those who knew of his own upbringing on the streets of Compton.
It's competition out here. California don't care. California is one of the places where they ain't caught up in running and trying to get autographs. They want your bankroll. They want what you got, one way or another. That's why they need to live out here. But it's good.
If Suge was never a gang member, as he's always maintained, he nevertheless understood the allure of gang life. But with his size and remarkable agility, his first ambition was to play football. And as a defensive lineman, he won a scholarship to UNLV. Rapper RBX, who along with his cousin Snoop would later join Death Row, also played for the school.
They introduced him as Mary in the Hype, and he jumped up immediately. My name is Suge, you know. I guess that's his name was Suge.
Suge came in, and I think from the first week of practice, we knew we had a special player.
He was feisty, spunky, you know, like Scrappy do, like let me at him. That type.
When he said something to somebody, I think it really meant something because, you know, he went out there and busted his butt just like he expected the rest of the guys to do.
Suge became an all-conference defensive end, and his coaches were so impressed that he was named defensive co-captain. His skill at dealing with people, which would help him so much in the music world, was already apparent.
Guy had got along with everybody. White, black, it did not matter.
Actually, he was like one of the funniest cats on the team. He's always playing practical jokes on people, running around at parties and stuff like that, having a good time. That's how I remember Suge Knight.
Suge was drafted by the Los Angeles Rams, but his football dreams ended there. His size made him a natural choice for working security in the music business, and from there he began managing artists. One of his first clients told Suge he'd written lyrics to Vanilla Ice's huge hit, Ice Ice Baby.
Will it ever stop? Yo, I don't know. Turn off the light and I'll glow.
The problem was he hadn't been paid. Suge decided to change that.
Suge came to me at the Palm restaurant first and just sat down and said hello. He was kind of nice, you know. It kind of scared us because he was really intimidating. You know, he had like 6 or 7 guys with him that looked like a football team. We couldn't figure out what the whole deal was, you know. Hello, whatever, you know. And he came again at another restaurant, Benihana's. Said hello again. I was like, wait a minute. And then he came to another restaurant. I was like, wait a minute, how does this guy know where we are at all times, you know?
Suge made clear that he had connections to certain gangs in L.A. and used that as a technique to get his business done. That sense of, I will go any place I have to go to get what I need to get done.
One day I went into my hotel room and he was in there, and he's with several people, and then he let me know what he wanted, and he wanted to get some points off the record, Ice Ice Baby, and I felt a little threatened. He didn't really come out and just say, you know, exactly how he wanted it. He let you picture it.
His empire was built a lot on the perception of that he would do this or he could do that, and how to, you know, and that's all you need.
Being afraid of Suge Knight wasn't necessarily a bad idea. By the time he visited Vanilla Ice in his hotel room, Knight had a series of arrests and a propensity for violence.
Signed the papers and I left. I didn't go to the police or anything like that. I'm not crazy, you know.
He brought street culture, the street mentality right into corporate America, and it was fearless. You know what I mean? It was a take no prisoners kind of approach to doing business in this industry.
What happened was like 2 seconds and it was over. You know, he got the money and he did his thing. I don't have a problem with it. Maybe you can just look at it like I was an investor in Death Row Records. Whatever. Probably about $3 million.
Then Suge made his big move. When Dr. Dre grew dissatisfied with his contract at Ruthless Records, owned by fellow NWA or Eazy-E, he convinced Dre to join up with him and leave Ruthless.
They took advantage of me not knowing the record business back in the day. But you know, I know what's up with those numbers now. Can't be with.
In a career of shrewd and decisive moves, this one would prove to be the most important. Suge got Dre out of his contract, but Eazy-E sued Death Row, charging he was forced to release Dre from his deal.
Under threat of his life and telling him that they would kill his mother and that they were holding me hostage, under those kinds of duress, got him to sign releases for Dr. Dre.
Suge, nearly twice the size of Eazy-E, dismissed the accusations, as did the court.
Do I need a bat, you know, to force him to do a few things? If he walked between my legs, excuse my French, people probably would think he was my penis. So, you know,
I'll give you an example, man. I've never been to Death Row Studios without my gun. Never knew what to expect.
Death Row is gonna be big, huge. We have the best acts coming out. Oh, not we. Look at me, like it's my label, really? This is Death Row, really. It is.
What I'm doing right now is I'll be putting out a solo album soon.
And when's my stuff gonna be out?
Back to what I was saying.
By 1992, Dr. Dre and Suge Knight had assembled the hit factory that would be Death Row Records. Suge had helped Dre get a publishing deal with Sony. With the advance, they began work on The Chronic. Dre's studio perfectionism soon burned through that advance, and Suge found another way to make some money. The soundtrack for the film Deep Cover, introducing Snoop Doggy Dogg to the world.
Creep with me as I crawl through the hood. Maniac, lunatic, calling Snoop Eastwood. Kicking dust as I bust police. And you never hear me hollering about peace.
Tell you the truth, I didn't even like Deep Cover when we first did it. Matter of fact, they had to trick me into doing the video.
He felt that it was, you know what I'm saying, make his album be negative. So he didn't want to do it, but I pushed it on him. You know, I told him I'd come up with some lyrics. And we came up with it and put it out there, and it did good, and it set his album up.
The lyrics and force, the stuff he was talking about, that's the stuff people wanted to hear because that was what was going on in the street at that time.
Right, what up, Snoop? Yo, I got the feeling. Tonight's the night like Betty White, and I'm chilling, feeling, no remorse. Yeah, so let's go straight to the undercover source.
That Snoop knew what was going on the streets came as no surprise. As a member of the Crips and an ex-con, he was simply rapping about what he saw around him. Dre, on the other hand, was never a gangster, but a musician, an entertainer. Regardless, with the duo's first collaboration, Death Row had found an identity they would nurture till the end.
It's a great, great record, great track. And it made clear that for a lot of people out on the East Coast, this West Coast thing was not going to go away. In fact, it was evolving from Straight Outta Compton and that stuff to Deep Cover. Then you have a logical progression to The Chronic.
The Chronic went on to sell more than 4 million copies, spending 28 weeks on the Billboard Top 10. Death Row had begun its 5-year domination of rap.
Wasn't no formula to doing that album. We just went in the studio, and whatever came out that day, if it was the bomb, it went on the album.
And it was so many creative minds in one place that the song just, almost every song came out to be a hit.
We didn't give it at all. We just came out just straight. We just try anything, you know. So it was cool though. That's what made the album a different success and a huge success, because we was doing stuff that wasn't. That's real. And we used to lock ourselves in the studio and just work, and we just come up with ideas, and he knew how to put it together, you know, just in a way that was you like, dang, that's tight.
All the records that came out in the 90s, there may not have been one that was more powerful, better made, or more influential than The Chronic. Because you think it's violent, or hit it, you think it's just materialistic. The Chronic is the record for you. That's the record, to me, that says Death Row, that says gangster rap. And it may scare the hell out of you, but that's why it's great.
Dre, freshly released from a label he felt took advantage of artists, vowed the same thing wouldn't happen at Death Row. Suge echoed those sentiments, and at first, Death Row seemed it would be an artist's dream.
It's like family, because, you know, me, Snoop, and Warren came from way back, and Snoop's cousin, Daz, came in. That's family, you know, Corrupt. So we was all friends, and we would just go in and make music.
Everybody's going to be happy on Death Row. You know, we're doing better deals than any other independent label is going to do. You know, we're going to have the best artists. We have the best production, as far as I'm concerned, and best lyricists.
I get up every day, and as long as the company's happy, as long as I'm happy, as long as the artist's happy, as long as we're selling records, it's all matters. Everything else is just talk.
The thing is, Suge was really like a big, you know, mama bear or something. I mean, these are all were his children.
While the Death Row environment was good for producing music, former Death Row artists say life at the label had its violent side.
Say a good one time a week, you see somebody get their ass whooped. Once a week, somebody was getting their ass whooped.
I can't really recall and say, oh, he hit him, he hit him, he hit him, but I know I seen some asses get whooped. On the real. I seen some motherfuckers get fucked up.
And it wasn't just one person. It was just a way of. Suge was famous for applying the old mafia tactics. And you instill fear in everybody by one person, or excuse my language, but I mean so we in there in the room, and the guy just walks in. He wants to he has no idea we're in the middle of a meeting. He wants a record deal. He walks in and he says he know how to rap. So Suge says, okay, rap. If we don't like what you do, we're gonna kick your ass. He said maybe 3 words and they just lit his ass up. Yeah.
I'm sure you never get him to say anything about it, but that's what happened.
Man, this street, this gang bang violence come with gang banging. That's like one hand in hand. If you see some, let's say you open a door and you see somebody getting their ass whooped, and there's 5 or 6 niggas whooping their ass. This the lifestyle you don't lead. I like this. I see a nigga getting his ass whooped. You gonna run in there and start whooping his ass with him. You gonna check his pockets. You gonna do all that type of shit.
You say something wrong, you get smacked. If you come late, you get smacked. If you do this, you get smacked. That sounds to me, it was like pimps and hoes. Okay, I'm a pimp and you the hoe. And if you do something wrong, I'ma slap you. And me, I not the hoe.
I probably did if I could recall, socked a few people in the eye and did some shit if I could recall. You know what I'm saying? But I can't recall. I can't recall.
Man, I've never been to Death Row Studios without my gun. Never knew what to expect.
That is one of the reasons that I left.
No matter how brutal Death Row was, according to its artists, it didn't stop the hits from coming. After being featured on The Chronic, the Snoop debut, Doggy Style, was one of the most anticipated LPs in history.
Hey, hold on while the camera's still rolling. Hold on.
Be on the lookout for that brand new Snoop Dogg album. It's called Doggy Style, produced by Dr. Dre. Additional cuts by that nigga Daz. It's just a Dog Pound Long Beach thing, you know what I'm saying? Death Row was in full motion. It'll be in the market September sometime. Peace.
With so much drama in the LBC, it's kind of hard being Snoop Dogg, but somehow, some way, you keep coming up with funky ass hits like every single day.
Snoop was the first major rap superstar who was organic. By that I mean, even though Hammer comes from the community of Oakland, he was perceived as like, you know, no disrespect to Hammer, he's perceived as like a sellout or just this pop guy. Whereas Snoop, he dressed like the brothers around the way. He talked like the brothers around the way. He rapped like the brothers around the way. I mean, one minute his hair is in a perm, next minute it's in braids. You know, he's flashing gang signs and videos and stuff like that. He was just a regular brother. He didn't need to wear like the big baggy outfits and do all the dance steps like Hammer did to cross over. He crossed over just being who he was. And then he had great skills.
Snoop has a different sound altogether, you know. I don't think it's another rapper out there that sounds like Snoop.
When I was growing up, I liked the R&B sound, like the Dramatics, the OJs, Harold Melvin, the Blue Notes, more or less singing, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't no rap back in the day, so I'm just bringing it back to the original culture. Like the R&B sound, you could say it's R&B, but it's not because it's a whole nother vibe. It's the G-Funk era.
It's like everywhere I look and everywhere I go, I'm hearing somebody try to steal my flow, but it ain't no thing. I see my homie Coolio, but be up on the game when I step through the door.
Snoop had the attitude when he walked in, and if you couldn't rap or sing, you would still want to deal with him because how he carried himself. So, you know, he like make you get the edge your seat and want to see what can he really do.
Snoop's album Doggy Style entered the charts at #1 and went on to sell 5 million copies. It not only put Death Row on top of the rap world, but the pop world as well. In 2 short years, hardcore rap had gone from a niche market to one of the biggest selling genres in music.
Death Row is going to be the biggest record company there is one of these days. You know, we're not taking any shorts. Just look at the foundation. The Chronic album is the foundation. Snoop album is another brick on the house that Death Row built.
Rap music speaks to more young people across this world than any other music, regardless of their race, ethnic origin, or religion.
It's like that, and as a matter of fact, cause I never hesitate to put a food on the stack.
Yeah, so keep out the manuscript. You see that it's a must we drop gangster.
What's my name?
In 1993, the popularity of gangster rap and gangster culture in general began to send chills down the collective spine of America, as its brutal imagery and thumping beats were capturing the imagination of millions of white suburban teens.
This is the only song on the Dogfather
The response to this new popularity was swift.
The line has been crossed, not just of taste, but of human dignity and decency.
Snoop Dogg, Doggy, whatever his name is, calling women bitches, calling women hoes. Little boy can't even spell hoe.
This smut being sold to our children, coercive influences,
encourages and motivates our youth to commit violent behavior, use drugs, and abuse women through demeaning sex acts.
While the rawness of gangster rap lyrics was undeniable, Death Row's rappers claim to be reflecting their own society, not trying to warp others.
There's no way I can say don't do drugs and don't do that. People ain't gonna stop killing each other. We gotta sit down and we gotta conversate and get it together. I don't mean to be political, because that ain't even me. But I'm gonna express the real from my heart.
I'm going to the studio to make Bob Dole mad. I'm finna go make Bob, I'm finna make you real mad right now. You with Dolores Tucker. I'm finna make a hit for y'all right now called We Love Snoop, F all y'all. This is a business. It's not something personal. You can't come to me and say, don't let your guys curse. And it's selling records. And it's coming from their heart. I ain't with that Hollywood. I'm with the real. And the real is letting people do what they want to do.
Anti-gangster rap activists took Suge's advice. Instead of focusing on the art form, they aimed at the public image-conscious corporations who were raking in millions from sales of Death Row's records.
There is no excuse for any corporation manufacturing, producing, and distributing such trash.
We do not understand the moral obtuseness of Time Warner. We do not understand why they don't get it.
Oh, they got it all right. Time Warner made tens of millions when they sold their share of Interscope, Death Row's distributor. But in the end, the music didn't change, and the hits kept coming.
It all worked out good, but there was a period there where it looked pretty bad. I think it's probably good publicity. You know, it's good publicity for somebody if you're trying.
Death Row's ability to market gangster stuff to suburban white America. One is the actual records, the production. Dr. Dre made great pop records.
Let me bang on some wood.
Yeah.
Every record that I put out from day one, they're your record. It don't matter about the equipment. It depends on if it's working. And I am that nigga, and I can make a motherfucking hit.
Dr. Dre is the evil genius of this era.
I need some music, Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre, I need some music.
So just sonically, they had the best producer who's doing the best hip-hop records, some of the best pop records in the country at that time. So that's one thing. We can't discount that. The other thing is, the Death Row artists became the successors to the bad boy image that used to be rock and roll in, that I'm a rebel thing. And I think that's a big part of why they succeeded. They were dangerous, they were fun, they were sexy, and that's always been rock and roll.
But for Suge, one audience's approval came before mainstream success.
The success comes from the streets. Before you even cross over and go to pop, the ghetto got to accept you first. When the ghetto says thumbs up, then you get kids in Utah say, everybody in Compton, Long Beach, and Watts is playing this and dancing this, looking at the video. It's all right. You know, this the new thing going on, so we can buy it. So you got to go with the ghetto first, period.
Snoop, you know I like your friends. They're in here every night, and they don't pay. Snoop Doggy Dog, why can't your friends just get a job?
Play it again, Sam.
A good deal of what Suge Knight did was to give people what people really want.
Sex and violence sales. Ask Al Pacino.
Suge had the marketing sense to know that this is something that everybody really wanted. They wanted this kind of gangster thing, this gangster shit, as they said, going on at the time.
America loves gangsters, and he found a new gangster for America, I think, and said that we can sell this.
We don't know the names of famous scientists. We barely know the names of our U.S. senators. We know who our gangsters are. And Suge understood that excited us, titillated us. And he exploited the hell out of it.
Tonight that I plan my hit. Yeah. Deep cover on the incognito tip. Breaking fools off if I have to. Feeling caps to. So you know I'm coming at you.
Gangster rap brought to a boil the keeping it real issue that had simmered in popular music since the birth of the blues. Its tales of deals, death, and destruction not only sounded real, its artists seemed to be living them on a daily basis.
A lot of what happened was all the Death Row artists. Suge's persona was rippled out throughout everybody, and it put them in a whole nother game.
The image had to be upheld. This is Death Row Records. When you come here, you got to have your chest out, your head up, and your hammer cocked back.
While this outlaw authenticity was a commercial jackpot, it was bound to yield tragic results. On August 25th, 1993, a man named Philip Waldemariam flashed a gang sign, a car carrying Snoop Doggy Dogg and his bodyguard McKinley Lee, known as Malik. A confrontation ensued, and Waldemariam was shot to death. America's best-selling rapper would be going on trial for murder.
Los Angeles police announced that 21-year-old Calvin Broadus, better known as rap star Snoop Doggy Dogg, had turned himself into police on Friday, along with 2 other young black men, all accompanied by an attorney, in connection with the murder on August 25th of a man named Philip Waldemariam, and what police believe was a gang-related shooting.
Suge Knight paid millions for Snoop's defense and showed up daily at court. Dre.
Snoop paid millions for Snoop. Suge paid millions for Snoop defense. We gonna hear about this, and then we'll talk about what happened after Snoop's defense after today, tomorrow when part 4 drops.
Stayed away. More than 2 years after Snoop's arrest, the jury returned with its verdict.
We, the jury and the defendant, Calvin Broadus, not guilty of the crime of murder in the first degree.
I want to really thank all my peoples on Death Row Records, all my homeboys, all my management, everything, everybody that supported me and Malik through this 2.5 years of just misery.
Snoop's acquittal only emboldened Suge and his label, which he now termed the new and untouchable Death Row Records. He decided to get back to work, but first he threw a party.
See, we know for having parties, so this is going to be a real big one. So it'll probably be about 1 million bottles of Crystal and, the whole shot. And the studio close by if we go there and finish this album.
Snoop's trial was only the beginning of the problems to beset Death Row. Their star producer was about to leave the company, but there was a new star on the horizon.
This is what Death Row was waiting for. This is what I've been waiting for. So now with the combination, it's like we superpowers now.
We gonna go ahead and get to this Pac now. Let's go.
Just act a fool. You know what I'm saying? I always act. I feel is that, being young and being in America, having without acting is easy because I want to act like everybody else. Anything to be up out of the ghetto.
At 24, Tupac Shakur was a platinum-selling artist, the movie star, and an inmate at the Dannemora jail in upstate New York. It took Suge Knight $1.4 million and a 2-page contract to make Tupac a free man and a Death Row recording artist.
Bro was waiting for this, what I've been waiting for. So now with the combination, it's like we superpowers now. Pick up that and you will be paid one of these days. I hope my words can paint a brother picture and let you know how much a brother miss you.
Tupac had first worked with Death Row in '94 on the label's third release, the soundtrack to Above the Rim, a film he also starred in. His attraction to the gangsterism at Death Row was already apparent.
Everybody out here got cases and a real brain and real thug lives to match these thug records. And you show me that on the other side and we could talk some.
Tupac brought so much to Death Row. He was already a movie star. He already had a persona that had a really hard edge to it.
If you open your mouth against me, I will get you. No matter how much time they give me, believe me, I will be free and you will see me. So watch your mouth.
He was a very, very fine lyricist. And he was a star. He just had that star thing.
Every time I speak, I want to shiver. I don't want them to be like, they know what I'm going to say because it's polite. They know what I'm going to say. And even if I get in trouble, you know what I'm saying? Ain't that what we're supposed to do?
What Death Row did is it took the harder side of Tupac and really burnished it.
Tupac was not your typical rapper. Raised by his mother to be politically and artistically aware, Tupac saw his life transform when his mother grew addicted to crack. They moved to Oakland, and Tupac found himself drawn to the streets and its fierce life. The different strands of his contradictory existence found expressed was also the stuff of legend. He'd been in and out of jails and courtrooms since he became a rapper and survived being shot 5 times in New York before being convicted of sexual assault and sent to a maximum security prison.
When I heard he got shot in New York, I was on the plane to New York. And it tore me apart. I was crying. I thought he was dead. And when I found out he was all right, and he had went to jail, I had told Suge, I said, Suge, we need to get Pop on Death Row. He needs to be here with us. Went and got him. David Kenner went and got him out of there, untangled him, put him in the studio as soon as he got out.
Suge and Death Row attorney David Kenner untangled Tupac's jail term with $1.4 million in bail money. Tupac signed a 2-page contract with Death Row outside the jail, and within 15 days had rapped All Eyes on Me, a double album that sold 7 million copies. Death Row now had 2 of rap's biggest superstars.
Snoop is the Grizzly Adams of dogs. I'm telling y'all straight up right there. The boy really.
You wrong about that, Zero Rat. Stutterbox was with him. Stutterbox was the first one that told me the story. So when I asked Suge about that story, Suge took over and told me his version of it. Definitely, Wack got punched on by that essay. You talking about he just telling the story. Nah, you capping, bro. That been corroborated.
I mean, they seen the video where he changed it to a dog, and they think Snoop is a dog. They all wait for it to change back. They all be just kicking outside the dog house waiting for the dog to change. Like, woo, woo, we gonna change, hold on.
He ain't going nowhere.
My friend, because he real. You know, he don't get caught up in the booth to the Hollywood. He just want to make sure he do a great job for you, and he gonna represent you to the fullest, as long as you representing him to the fullest.
Suge doted on him.
They were inseparable. Tupac was with him all the time.
I think Tupac did make some adjustments in his life when he came to death row. I think he brought a great deal to death row, but he also took on that death row image, so to speak.
Next year, Death Row gonna start printing our own money. Because we making so much, we need to start printing our own money. It's gonna be me and Suge on the $100 bill like this. Me, Suge, and Damu. It's gonna be in the $100 bill.
He was going all out to be this death row person, you know what I mean? To live up to these myths. It's just this hardcore, I don't give a, you know, kind of cat. And having interviewed Tupac Shakur many times before he went to Death Row Records, I knew that that was not him.
He went along with whatever Death Row wanted to go along with at that time, at first. Also, I think Tupac had plans for Tupac because he was that kind of individual.
One thing that Tupac did was jump in the middle of a beef between Suge and Bad Boy Entertainment CEO Sean Puffy Combs. Suge made the beef public when he dissed Puffy at the Source Magazine Music Awards in '95.
Any artists out there want to be an artist and want to stay a star, don't have to worry about the executive producer trying to be all in the videos, all on the record, dancing. Come to Death Row.
He hated on Bad Boy Entertainment. Hated. He hated on, I mean, basically any beef that was created, it was him hating. Suge felt you had to ride. That's how you get reconciled. That's how we look like we bad.
Tupac, once close to Bad Boy rapper Notorious B.I.G., began to accuse Biggie of responsibility for his being shot in '95. He also boasted that he'd had sex with Biggie.
Tupac almost was reborn. You know, he really was into hanging with Suge and all that. I think that the chemistry of those guys created some interesting music for Tupac, but I think a lot of dissension happened in the company. The things that started to change at Death Row changed faster when Tupac arrived.
The biggest change was Dr. Dre deciding to leave Death Row. Dre, who'd been in and out of trouble with the law during his involvement with the label, had served time in prison for a parole violation and was growing tired of the gangsta mentality Death Row had so masterfully projected.
You put out negative energy, it's going to come back to you, period. Live by the gun, die by the gun.
Dre didn't want to put up with what was going down, man. I mean, you got to realize he had most of the new artists was the cream of the crop from the streets. Man, you had artists in there drinking all night, smoking, doing whatever. And, you know, ass whoopings was going. Dre didn't want to be a part of that.
Ironically, for a man who was helped out of a bad deal 4 years earlier by the efforts of Suge Knight, Dre left Death Row with nothing.
The breakup with Death Row, then turn around and get zero for it. That's a great move for Suge Knight. It was a bad move for Dr. Dre. There's nowhere in the world I left a multi-million-dollar company to go start another company and don't at least walk away with $50 million.
Now I went through a lot, more than the public knows. The record business is, to me, the worst business you can be involved in because any Joe Schmo from off the block can make a record, which means you're going to have more cutthroats involved and more shiesty people. You know, and I think I've met them all.
On September 4th, 1996, Tupac Shakur arrived with the rest of his posse at the MTV Video Music Awards in New York. Backstage, Tupac said he was ready to battle Death Row's East Coast nemesis, the people from Bad Boy Records.
They see us and they want drama, we're going to definitely bring it like only Death Row could bring it.
Thanks to Suge, Tupac had been out of jail for almost a year, and his first Death Row release, All Eyes on Me, had been a massive hit. Some, though, say Tupac wasn't happy with his life at the label.
Tupac was trying to get off of Death Row. That's why he did those albums so fast, because he had an album, I think it was a 3-album deal, and he was trying to move on.
Tupac loved Death Row. Tupac loved me, I love him. You'd ask Tupac that question, that was he planning on leaving Death Row, he definitely would cuss you out.
Pac wanted to leave Death Row bad. Hated it. But he knew this was the hand that was feeding me. He got me out of trouble. I'm still going through this. I'm still going through that. How can I do it?
Those who claim Tupac wanted out of Death Row say the rapper felt he wasn't seeing his fair share of
money. Everybody's beef with Death Row at the time was money.
That Machiavelli album, 7 Day Theory, that was more or less a sacrifice album. I need to make Suge more money. I don't even know how much I owe Suge. Exactly. He say I do. I need to make more money, then I'm going to start this Machiavelli label.
Tupac's alleged complaints about the money he received was part of a long music biz tradition. While there's no question that many Death Row artists live very well, whether they own the toys that they played with is another story.
Whatever transpired was Death Row in terms of artists feeling they were exploited over advances or money loaned to them. That could have been happening anywhere. And it does every day.
Then on September 7th, 1996, came the encounter that would destroy Death Row as the music world knew it. As Suge, Tupac, and their posse were leaving the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, someone in their group spotted an alleged Southside Crip named Orlando Anderson, who months earlier had been blamed for the theft of a Death Row medallion. There was a confrontation, then a beatdown. Hours later, as Tupac rode in the passenger seat of Suge's car, another car pulled alongside theirs and opened fire. 6 days later, Tupac was dead of his wounds. In December of that year, that MGM Grand surveillance tape was used to send Suge Knight to prison, with his kicking of Orlando Anderson judged a violation of Suge's parole on a previous charge. He was given 9 years.
He has a history of violence. And I am concerned for those people that are out in the community that are potential victims.
Even as Tupac's posthumously released album Machiavelli dominated the charts, Death Row was reeling. The incarceration of Suge Knight ground business to a near halt. Then its last megastar, Snoop, left for Master P's No Limit Records.
It wasn't his fault because he had to worry about, his situation as far as him being locked up and not being free. So I couldn't fault him, but he was the only one that ran the company, so I can't fault nobody but him. If he was out on the streets, it'd probably still be the same. I'd probably still be over there.
With Suge still in prison, Death Row's future remained.
So we're going to end now with this right there. We gave y'all an hour and 20 minutes, man. Rest in peace to the GOAT, Tupac Shakur, the 29-year anniversary of the day him and Suge Knight was shot right off the strip in Las Vegas, Nevada. Death Row! Tap in tomorrow. We're going to be on Clubhouse, reminiscing, going through the Death Row catalog, the best music in the golden era of hip-hop. And we're going to hopefully, Scandalous already added some more of the Suge Knight exclusive interview by Duse Sims, the Don. To the end, if y'all ain't hit that like button, man, hit that like button. Damu, Kiwe.